And I would like to wish you all the best with your podcast, Typical Chicago Fans. Again, best of luck to you and your podcast, Typical Chicago Fans. And one final thought, Zach. Go Cubs! And peace.
Today on episode 255 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, our NFL Draft Preview, our NBA Playoff Update, an NHL Playoff Update, and the TCF Top 3 of Baseball Names. Let's roll. Hello and welcome back to Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Today is episode 255. Make sure to find us on X at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Give those pages a like. For all of our content in video form, get on over to YouTube, subscribe there, hit the red subscribe button there. For all of our podcasts, we are on every network that has podcasts, so wherever you get them, we are there. So subscribe, rate, review, 5 stars, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. You can find me on X at BoomyTCF. And, of course, the man that I'm joined with tonight, that is Zach at ZLiliaTCF. Zach, it is officially spring. We've both mowed the yard once.
Yeah, it's beautiful outside, especially now. It got a little cold there for a little bit, but I think we are officially in spring weather, which is perfect for everybody.
Absolutely. I was on spring break last week, so got to enjoy a little bit of the outside, went on a little bit of a hike, did some outdoor stuff, got the yard mowed, just the tinkering around the yard and the garage, just real getting my feet under me, for lawn care season.
Yeah, it's that time of year. You cut the yard. Well, we'll get more into that with my.
All right. Well,
maybe in sinkers and floaters, we'll get a little more into that.
Let's jump right into it. As always, we've got sinkers and floaters. My sinker this week is the Pope. If you haven't heard yet, if you're just crawling out from under your rock, the Pope died on Monday. So new Pope time.
Yeah, it's they do like a 9-day funeral.
Yeah, there'll be like a viewing at I think it's St. Peter's Basilica, maybe.
And then they do it's like white smoke if they don't find one, and then black smoke if they find one, if they get one.
I might be the other way around.
We're
bad Catholics.
It has something to do with smoke.
It's called the Papal Conclave, where they get all of the cardinals. I saw a great TikTok the other day. This girl, I was raised Catholic as well, and I remember in 7th or 8th grade, we got the day off of school when the Pope either died or they got a new Pope after JP2.
And did you get to watch the funeral or anything?
No, don't remember that. I remember we went to Kalahari the day we got off of school, so we didn't really celebrate probably the way you were supposed to, but
hey, you get a day off is a day off.
I really am pulling for the guy whose last name is like Pizziola.
Yeah, Pizziola. We're hoping for maybe, I guess, I don't know.
The Pizza Pope?
An American Pope?
I don't think it's even on the table.
Oh, really? I don't understand any of this.
Yeah, it seems the Europeans, it's kind of like, what's a sport that the Europeans dominate?
Soccer?
Yeah, we'll say it's like soccer. The Europeans definitely dominate. I'm also I think there's a guy in the Philippines. So I don't know. I wonder if we can bet on it.
I bet you can. I bet you 100% can. The excitement of waiting for the smoke to change is always fun. But other than that, I don't really get into it as much.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I should, though,
world news is the only thing that it popped up to me. And
I am Catholic, so I should get into it a little bit more. But
bad Catholics.
But you gotta wait. You gotta wait the 9 days, and then it gets exciting.
Yep. And shout out, the Pope died the day after Easter. Didn't do it on Easter. He at least waited. Didn't make it all about himself. You got to respect.
Well, that's what they say.
That's a fair point. It might have not been Easter Monday. Who knows?
Did he gave an Easter
blessing?
Yeah,
and then died the next day
somehow.
Shout out to the Pope.
Yeah, shout out to the Pope.
Rest in peace.
My sinker is cutting your fingernails too short.
Oh,
I did that on my thumb. You can kind of see it. It's gotten better, but you can see the
red there. A little blood,
a little too far down. Oh my gosh, that is the most annoying pain you can have. Is cutting your fingernails too low.
I'll raise you one. Cutting a toenail too short.
Well, yeah, either way. Well, toenails, because it rubs up against the shoe a lot.
And you just can't escape it.
Either way, it's just awful, just annoying, and then you're just mad because you gave yourself that pain. No one else did it. You cut your own fingernails or toenails. But, yeah, it's just I did it the other day, and I did it 2 of them on my left hand. And it's one of those things you see the blood, and you're like, oh, no. And it hurts. And then the next day it hurts even worse. Then you're trying to sleep and you hit your hand on something, and it's an annoying pain, and you can only blame yourself.
I only say that because recently I cut a toenail too short.
Yeah, that's annoying too.
You just can't stay off your feet. You know?
And then it rubs up against your shoes, and there's nothing to stop that unless you wear like sandals with no socks on, which I never do.
Yeah, I rarely ever do.
But yeah, it's just an awful pain. And you can only get mad at yourself. So that's the worst part. Oh, that person did this or that. It's on you.
That is true. My floater this week. Do you remember doing the ice bucket challenge like 10 years ago?
Yes, it's back. I see it's back. Is that the one where you nominate people?
Yeah. So I nominate you.
Have you done it?
No.
Well, then you can't nominate me yet. I mean, I'll take the nomination when you do it.
I remember doing this. I think I went and looked on my Facebook. It was like 10 years ago. I don't even know if we had moved out into this house yet. I might have still been living at my parents' house. But yeah, it's back. And this time last time was for ALS. This time is for mental health awareness. But yeah, I never thought that would be something. Trevor Wallace, one of the comedians that I follow on social media, had a really good point. He said, the ice bucket challenge is back. What's next? The mannequin challenge? Remember the mannequin challenge?
Yeah, I do remember that. Maybe. Well, at least this is for a good cause.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, ice bucket challenge.
The 2 cycles of the Ice Bucket Challenge. We're old enough to see both cycles of the Ice Bucket Challenge. But yeah.
Never thought we'd see the day.
I'll take the nomination once you do it.
All right, fair enough.
But yeah, that's one of those things you like go on social media and you're just like, please don't tag me in this. And then, I mean, it's for a good cause, but it still sucks to do. But this is the time of year to do it, though. At least it's not in the winter time when it's freezing outside. At least it's nice outside to be pouring cold water on your head.
Exactly.
But yeah. We can say we lived through both
iterations,
ice bucket challenges. My sinker my floater is yard work. It's that time of year when if you get frustrated or you're just sitting around the house a little too much, you got something to do. You go outside, mow the yard, pull weeds, whatever you got to do. It's just that time of year where because in the wintertime, you sit around the house. There's nowhere to go.
You go shovel
can't
snow
go outside.
Again. You can't do that.
It's freezing outside. There's nothing to do outside. But this time of year, you can go outside and just find anything to do. There's always something to do outside, even if it's just pulling weeds, fixing up
organizing the garage.
Yeah.
I'm a big one to do that. I'll reorganize the garage. I couldn't believe it. I've had my mower for, I think, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now. And I always have to get it sent in to just, a little tune up, a little oil change and everything because the battery never starts on the first mow of the year. And a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'll fire it up and see what happens. Sure enough, fired right up on the third key turn. So
there you go. That's what you want.
Yeah, save me a couple $100.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it's nice to know that you're not just trapped in the house. That there's something to do outside whenever you're bored or just need to get outside and get out of the house.
Exactly. No, I love doing yard work. We've talked about this a million times. But like you said, even if it's just some random go out and find something to do in the yard.
Or even just like for you, let Roman go outside and roam.
Exactly. Absolutely. Let's jump into the TCF Sports Minute. We will start with the Bears. We are recording this Wednesday night, so we're like 24-ish hours away from the draft. Bears are sitting at 10. We'll dive deeper into it, but how do you feel? We're 24 hours out. I mean,
I feel like I have no idea what they're going to do. Which is kind of fun and exciting. It's nice to not know exactly what they're going to do because usually you're either going to get a quarterback or what's going to happen. But, I mean, there's also been we'll get into with the draft preview, but no trades in the first round, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So it could be an interesting first night. And it's also they really make that thing long.
Yeah,
they don't do it quickly anymore. It's 3 days now.
Oh yeah, that changed.
But yeah, the Bears. I mean, the nice thing is they could go any way with it. They could go for running back. Genty keeps going out there, but I don't think he's going to be on the board. But then they
could trading up.
Lineman is what you always need. The tight end.
This seems like a year that the Bears don't necessarily need linemen.
No.
With all the moves they've made.
Well, I do know they made moves, but they're still moves that can be made.
Right.
It's not like those moves made them just
bulletproof at the
perfect
line.
now. They still can make moves on both sides, defense and offense. I mean, it's one of those years where you could take best available. You don't have to worry about getting a specific position. You can maybe get the best player that's available.
And if you don't like anything, trade back. That's always up there.
Or trade up if you find something that you want early. If you want Genty so bad, then you can move up for it and stuff like that. So it's going to be an interesting draft, and I think that's the exciting part is that there's no like set in stone who they're going to pick. It's going to come down to right when they make the pick, which is always fun for the viewer. I know it's nice, like you have Caleb Williams and stuff like that, but it's also nice to have a little bit of unknown excitement. But you don't specifically need something, and you could go a bunch of different directions.
Is the draft too long?
It's way too long.
Way too long.
I think it's way too long. I think the first round is way too long. It's like just get it moving. I mean, if you don't know who you're going to pick, especially top 10, we don't need that much time. I think the time limit is way too long.
I agree. And they have shortened up the time in like the second and third days.
Which is fine, but I think the first round should be almost shorter than those rounds. I think it's harder to make a pick in the second and third round than it is in the first round.
I agree.
If you don't know who you're going to take in the top 15 to 20 picks, then what have you been doing for the last? Like your first
season
picks,
ended in early January.
Your first pick you should know. Maybe the second, third picks of the night or of the draft.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit harder to do, but especially that you have like if you make your first round pick, you're not picking until the next day.
Yeah.
So you have plenty of time to go over it. You should need less time in the first round than you do in the second round.
I don't disagree with you.
I think all around is too long.
I completely
and I understand
agree.
It's always like a fantasy football draft that you make the later rounds a little bit shorter. I think the earlier rounds should be shorter.
Yeah. It's also crazy, like, I know this is off topic a little bit, but like the fact that the NBA used to be like 10 rounds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Insane. What is it, 7 rounds for the draft?
In the NFL, yeah. And the NBA is 2.
2, yeah. That's insane. Think about it, too, because how would there be that many? What were they doing with all those guys?
Basically, like all of the guys from like the 3rd through the 10th round just got cut.
Yeah,
they just brought them to camp in case they found a diamond in the rough.
You got the privilege of saying, "Hey, I got drafted by this team," but that's the last they're going to see of me.
Yeah, so kind of tying back to our social plugins, I was talking the other day on one of the typical days in history, was a guy who was born in Illinois and played basketball at the University of Illinois and was drafted in like the 7th round of the NBA draft, went to camp, got cut, went and took a job at Caterpillar in Peoria, and then played. They had like a work-sponsored AAU team, and he played for them. They won a national tournament out in Denver where he got noticed by a scout who got invited to play against Team USA and got noticed and then got re-signed. Some team bought his rights, and then he ended up playing in the NBA. But it's like, yeah, he got drafted in the 7th round. He got cut.
That's crazy to think that many rounds.
But we'll get a little bit deeper into the draft here a little bit later on in the show. Guys, we got breaking news here on the Bears as we're recording this. So before we move on, Steve Mongo McMichael has passed away at the age of 67. We've said it a million times. We're out here in Mendota, and Mongo was a staple for a while at the Mendota Quarterback Club outing.
Yeah, you would do the thing where you would a hole 7 at Mendota.
Post up, yep.
Everyone in your group would hit, and then he would hit a Bears ball, and you would go get it.
Packers legend, too.
I have had a few drinks with him at the corner tab in
Zach's Twitter profile.
Picture. Awesome guy. He lived an amazing life, too. Part of the Four Horsemen.
Yep.
Just some
not the original
stuff.
Four Horsemen.
No, but
one of, yeah.
Wrestling Four Horsemen, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was friends with Ric Flair. He lived the life. Unfortunately, in 2021, he was diagnosed with ALS and has battled that ever since. And it's a sad day in Chicago history. I mean, he was Like Boomy said, he does his Chicago history. He's probably a part of a bunch of it.
I always see, I coach travel basketball and we play in like the Romeoville area, and he's got a steakhouse right on the highway there. So I drive by that a lot. Obviously played in the quarterback club outing. And obviously me not being a Bears fan, even a guy who played for the Packers is diehard Bears, because I even said about being a Packers fan and he busted my chops. I'm like, dude, you played for the Packers.
There's always that famous, he yelled at, I think, Angel Hernandez.
Got thrown out of the Cubs game.
The Cubs game, so Cubs fans can love him for that.
Absolutely.
If you ever met the guy, you just knew that he had a superstar personality.
That is a great way to put it.
He always had something to say, but he was always fun to be around.
For sure. So rest in peace, Mongo. Passed away at the age of 67. Moving to the Cubs. Cubs are sitting at 15-10, first place in the National League Central, a game and a half up on second place. What a game on Tuesday night. Oh, my God.
I'm so annoyed by the people who say, can you believe they gave up 10 runs and they're happy they won? First of all, it's the Dodgers. And second of all, you won the game. You scored more runs than the other team.
Also, in a city of a bunch of losers, let's be happy with a win.
I just think that's annoying when people say stuff like that.
Super annoying.
They won in extra innings with our guy, Ian Happ. With the base hit. The first at-bat in the 10th inning. And then Miguel Amaya had a home run in the 9th inning, 2 outs to tie it up. Kyle Tucker with a home run, PCA with the home run. This offense is looking great.
Bullpen's an issue.
But they're making moves.
Yeah.
I saw Gage Workman DFA'd. Nicky Lopez has been signed to a major league one-year contract.
That's going to be like a 1 week thing, I think.
Yeah, so they're just
Matt Shaw will be up before later.
Yeah, but
sooner
he's got to prove himself too. He had a chance and didn't do that well when
Unfortunately, though, I don't even know if that's the case. If Nicky Lopez doesn't come out and, like, I don't want to say set the world on fire, but, like, I got a feeling either way we're going to see Matt Shaw within the next 2 weeks.
I hope so, and I hope he plays better than he did, because that's who you want defensively out there. Workman just kind of worked his way out. He had 2 errors last night, I think, for 4 earned runs.
For a kid that they claimed as such a great third baseman, he's been bad. There's no other way around it.
An okay to not very good hitter and not be good at defense. You got to pick one way or the other.
And it just felt like his errors came at the worst possible time.
Is nice to know the Cubs are making moves.
Yeah.
They got
Drew Pomerantz coming up.
Yeah, from the Mariners.
Seattle, yeah.
And he's I think he's going to go down to Iowa for
No, they called him up to the show today.
He sent down to Iowa for
They originally, when they first traded for him this weekend, they sent him to Iowa, but I'm pretty sure they called him up today.
Either way, he started down there.
Yeah.
And then he's going to make the move up, and unfortunately, Javier Assad was pulled from his start with the Iowa Cubs in the 5th inning. So we're going to have to see where that goes. But the starting pitching isn't really what we're worried about at this point. It's the bullpen. But we're going to need starting pitching going forward because Ben Brown, I love Ben Brown, but he's just he makes it hard.
Yeah.
He throws a lot of balls quickly in games, and
Ben Brown throws the ball hard and has no clue where it's going.
I just don't know if Matthew Boyd can keep this up all season. Not saying he's not going to be a good pitcher.
Yeah.
But, and then we got
the one thing I like about Matthew Boyd, coming off of Tommy John surgery, he is averaging, and I know we're only a month into the season, but he is averaging his fastest fastballs of his career at the age of 34.
As well as he has his whole career coming off of Tommy John, which makes you hopeful for Justin Steele, too.
Yeah.
Which was so sad to see. I saw a video of him watching the game last night. That makes you sad.
It was cool and sad at the same time.
Yeah, it's cool and sad at the same time because you know that he needs to be out there for the Cubs. But they're doing good. They're the best 15-10 team I've ever seen.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
They may be the only 15-10 team to, at this point, be like the best odds to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Because
their
schedule has been unreal. And after tonight's game against the Dodgers, they don't play the Dodgers, Padres, or Diamondbacks anymore.
That's
which
crazy.
Is awesome. But yeah, the Cubs are playing really well, and it's fun to see. But every time Kyle Tucker hits a home run, you're just reminded that he's only here for 1 year.
Kyle Tucker's going to be a free agent.
Yeah, that sucks.
But you really hope that – I mean, realistically, it's going to cost you $450 million.
Which is fine. I mean,
I'm fine with it. At this point, whatever.
anyone that plays like him is going to cost that much money. But
That
guess what?
dude
They're not on our team at
rakes.
this point. So he's on our team. He's in a spot to re-sign him. Do it now.
Yeah. And I hate to be like this, but I do get a little bit of relief when I see that Cam Smith is batting like $180.
Yeah, he started off the
He did have a
season
home
pretty
run.
decent, but yeah, Kyle Tucker, I mean, you'd have to be doing really well for that trade not to work out.
Yeah.
But man, he's playing so well, and I didn't realize his bat flip was so cool when he hit the home run.
Yes.
But yeah, let's just hope they can re-sign him, and they look like a team that is poised to win the division. Hopefully,
Yeah.
because you don't want to mess around with that because that NL West is stacked. And you don't want to be in that wild card
And
spot.
they've done a great job against the NL West, so we'll take that,
And they're kind of coming back to normal with schedule-wise. They've had, I think, every Thursday off in April, and they maybe play one Thursday in May.
Yep.
So their schedule is going to kind of get back to normal of everybody with them starting 2 games ahead.
Yep.
But going forward, you just kind of got to worry about that bullpen every game. But you always know that the offense is there to hopefully get them
And it'll
into,
go through its ebbs and flows. Like, there will be weeks where, Kyle Tucker struggles. Like, that's just how baseball
that's
works.
how baseball works.
But
Like
then
Dansby Swanson's struggling right now.
Yep. He had a big one last night, too.
Yeah, it's just that baseball is so hard.
Yeah.
People don't realize how hard baseball. You cannot be a perfectionist and play baseball.
No, it's
you got to
impossible.
be very laid back, and that seems like Kyle Tucker's attitude.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
why PCA I think is so good because he doesn't let the game get to him too much.
I mean, he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, but
so
he
fun
started
to watch.
off not the greatest.
Yep.
And then he's playing his way through it, and I think last year really helped him too. Because he
Absolutely.
realized, it's not like you're playing with the Iowa Cubs anymore. You're playing with the Chicago Cubs, and it's going to be tough.
Yep, exactly. Philly this weekend at Wrigley. That'll be tough. Philly's solid. They're
Also,
second place.
Dodger fans, that was a little much last night. They marched through Wrigleyville, a bunch of Dodger fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's April.
Chill out.
It's April.
Chill
first
out,
of all.
guys. The White Sox, 5-18, last place, 9 games out already. They're finishing up at Minnesota today and tomorrow, and then they go to Sacramento to play the A's. There's just not much. They're they're playing the Twins tonight. We're recording this Wednesday. The Twins are minus 245 tonight,
Which I think is a little wild. It's still baseball.
And the Twins are not good.
No. Because they're not picking a great time to be bad.
White Sox are plus 225.
Because this division is not that great right now.
No, that division's terrible.
It's up for grabs if you could just be around 500.
Let's see. The Tigers are in first place. I mean, granted, they're 15-10, same as the Cubs, but them and the Guardians, 15-10, 14-10, and then your third place team is 10-14.
And I don't mean to be like whatever about the Cubs, but they have officially had the hardest schedule in all of Major League Baseball going forward.
Yep.
And they started 0-2.
Yeah.
Technically, I mean they came back from Tokyo 0-2 and have played probably 3 of the best teams in baseball.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's what I saw. Was it Arizona is fourth place in the National League West?
And the Rangers are up there.
Yeah.
I mean, they play good teams. But, yeah, the White Sox, I hate to be this way, but they always say, well, they couldn't be as bad as last season, but they might be.
Luckily for the White Sox, the Colorado Rockies exist.
Yeah,
The Rockies
true.
are awful. The
But if
Rockies are
you're-
4-18.
If you're a team like the Chicago White Sox, you can't base yourself off of other teams. Especially,
but that might be the only thing you have to hold on to.
But you're still in totally different, and they can still be the worst team in the AL.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
And
they
you
have
don't want to compare yourself to the Colorado Rockies. This is the Chicago White Sox in a big city. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's tough to see. I mean, they're staying in games. They're not getting blown out like they usually did last year.
Yeah, and they're starting
doing
to
a lot
see
better.
some of the prospects filter through and get their shot. So just got to keep banking on that and get yourself out to guaranteed rate and eat some good food. Get a cheap ticket. And
decent
call it a day.
baseball, and also with the we talked about it on the last podcast, the ownership.
Yeah.
It's kind of leaning towards because the Reinsdorf sons are getting more, but I don't think that they're going to do anything with it.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, so you could be going in the other direction of maybe the is it Ishbias?
Yeah.
taking over, which would be what the White Sox fans want to see. But we found out with the Bulls, just because you make changes in the front office doesn't mean everything's going to change. But
and what was the big one I saw? Perez is probably out for the year.
Yeah,
that stinks. Martin Perez.
And Vaughn's been hurt.
I know. He's on my fantasy team, and he stinks.
Yeah, the highest paid player on the team.
Yeah.
But it's just...
And the kid they called up, Meredith,
goes
to the IL.
Yeah, it's just...
Bobby Dahlback coming back up. I mean...
It seems like they got no luck.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I mean... just enjoy it for what it is. I don't think they're going to be the worst team in baseball, but they're going to be up there. I mean, it's pretty simple.
But it's not like you had high expectations.
That is very true. Something I have very high expectations for, that's my coffee in the morning. And that's because I get it from Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure you check them out. It is the best coffee around that you are going to find, I promise you guys. Ian Happ, game-winning single right between first and second base last night. If he drinks Folgers in the morning, that hit doesn't happen.
He drank before the game. Maybe during
before
the game.
Yeah, it's in the clubhouse. So he won 3 Gold Gloves. He's one of the best hitters on the Cubs. He's our left fielder. He drinks Connect Roasters. You should too. Make sure you check out their website, connectroasters.com. Find them on X at Connect Roasters.
You're wondering what fuels that team. I think Connect Roasters is in that locker room, and that's what's fueling this offense. That's what's keeping them going.
That's true. They're seeing the ball better because they're more focused. Connect Roasters gets 65% of the ownership over the Cubs offense. So make sure you get some. Head over to connectroasters.com. Get yourself loaded up on some delicious, amazing coffee. So as always, a big shout out to our friends over in Bourbonnais at Connect Roasters. 24 hours from now, the NFL draft is going to get underway. The Bears sit at the 10th overall pick as of right now. So let's get into a little draft breakdown. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. I'll be honest with you, Zach, I think the Bears are going to trade up. I think they're a little in love with Genty.
I think they really are. It just depends on what they have to give up for him, but I do think that they are fans. So I wouldn't be a Big J journalist if I didn't ask you this. Taking a running back in the first round, let alone the top 10, that's got to worry you a little bit. Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
A guy like Genty, who I'm pretty sure went all 4 years to college.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's one of those spots where it's okay for them to do it because you're not set on a certain position. But, yeah, it does worry you. It always worries you because nowadays running backs are like by committee at this point.
Yeah.
You don't really have one, just a really good one and whatever. It's like the Lions and stuff like that. Even like Saquon Barkley, they won the Super Bowl, but it's not like he's getting paid crazy amount of money.
Yeah,
it's just tough because it's a position that unfortunately doesn't last long in the NFL, especially if you use just one.
That's true.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Because I think if they stay where they are, they're not going to get Genty. I think he is going to go between like 5 and maybe 8. But if they want to do it, if they feel like that's who they want and they're aggressive about it, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. It shows me that they are willing to trade and move up for players that they want.
And let's not act like running back isn't a position the Bears need to fill.
No, it's
DeAndre Swift ain't the guy.
No, it's definitely a position that the Bears need, and it will help out Caleb Williams. I mean, he could be a running back. He can move out and catch balls, stuff like that. I think that it would be a good fit for the Bears. I'm not gonna. There's no getting mad about it. There's really no position other than quarterback I would get mad that they would pick up.
Yep. I think that's fair. And one of the things, I really don't see them taking a wide receiver.
No.
I just don't think that's in the cards. But maybe later.
Yeah, maybe later because I just don't see them really set on any top 10 type wide receiver.
Yep.
I think maybe they could go the second, third round.
And they have the 39th and the 41st pick.
Yeah, and that would be maybe the way that they move up.
Yeah.
Is trading those picks, which would be fine. And if they do that, it just shows that they are willing to move up to get the players that they want, which is a lot better than years ago when they moved up to get Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, that is true. We always have to bring up Mitch. I do think that it's one of those things that the mock draft that I tend to gravitate the most is RJ White's on CBS Sports. I think he just does a really good job. And the name that I keep seeing him and has for the last couple of days, Calvin Banks.
Yeah.
I don't think you could be mad about Calvin Banks adding to your offensive line.
I would, like I said, there's really nowhere they can go that makes me mad, especially if they pick best player available at that time. I mean, there's really no position that the Bears don't need a little bit of help at.
Would you be upset with a tight end?
No, because I like Cole Kmet, but if you're going to get a guy that's as good as Cole Kmet or better, that's going to help Cole Kmet.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of teams that run 2 tight ends. It's not like
that is true.
He has to do,
and especially Ben Johnson's ran a 2 tight end set his time in Detroit.
I think everyone is a big fan of Cole Kmet, and everyone thinks if you go get another tight end, Cole Kmet's done with the Chicago Bears. That's not the case. I think that if they get another tight end, that would help Cole Kmet going forward and maybe help his stats and help his. I mean, you think about it. If they have 2 good tight ends out there, it's going to let Cole Kmet get open a little bit more. I think that we're overthinking maybe the last 5 years or so when the Bears have had a bunch of tight ends.
Yeah. But it was always like a bunch of tight ends that weren't very good.
This is a very good tight end, and I think that if the Bears do make that move, that's also a move I'm fine with.
Yep. Looking at the rest of the division, I think that the Minnesota Vikings have the least amount of picks in this draft. I want to say they only have 4 picks in this whole draft, which is very interesting. Looking at them, had a great year last year. They don't have, necessarily the pieces they had last year. And are they going to look at J.J. McCarthy stepping into that role? I mean, they're going
to have to at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know who else. I mean, unless Aaron Rodgers somehow falls to them. I think that if he goes anywhere, it's going to be the Steelers.
Yep.
At this point. Because he's just waiting to kind of see what happens in the draft. I think once the draft is over with, you're more likely to see him sign with a team. But other than Cam Ward going at 1, that top 10 to 15 can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Shador, he could go from maybe like 2 or 3 all the way back to 15 or 16.
Yep.
I mean, you just don't know. And it's not like a set in stone draft, which I think is going to make it a very fun draft to watch. It's always nice to not know what's going to happen going into it more than, here's top 5 is going to be this. I mean, you know who's going to be in the top 10, which players, but you don't know where they're going to go.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that just makes it interesting, along with the idea that there may not be a lot of stars in this draft. There's a lot of starters, but in 20 years, are there any Hall of Famers in this draft?
With no trades happening until the day of, as of right now, that could be a lot of trades going on during the first round. Yeah. I mean, either that or it could be no trades, but I think it's setting up for an exciting draft that is going to be fun to watch. That's all you really want as a fan, is a fun-to-watch draft where you don't know who's going to go next.
I agree. And then you also look inside the division. You have Detroit, who obviously is very, very good. They're just going to be filling a couple spots, hoping to pick up some young guys. And then Green Bay, I truly think that Green Bay is going to take – at first I'm like, there's no way Green Bay takes a wide receiver. But the more and more I keep looking, it looks like the Packers might even move up.
Yeah.
And one of the names I saw was is it Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas?
I think so.
I've seen some of his stuff come up, a couple other wide receivers.
That's definitely where they need help at. I mean, not saying that they are.
Yeah, Christian Watson's made of glass. I mean,
it's just if you have a quarterback.
Tavion Wicks is the best wide receiver on the Packers.
You have a quarterback, that's where you want to fill. And I think, say what you want, with Aaron Rodgers, that's where they kind of didn't fill in enough spots in the draft when Aaron Rodgers was there. And you kind of need to learn from your mistakes.
Yep.
And give Jordan Love more of an opportunity to get guys from the draft.
And I also think that you're going to see them take a defensive back fairly high in the first or second rounds because I think Jair Alexander is as good as gone.
They need to be willing to make trades. They're going to need to be
They're
willing
trying to move
up.
Alexander, but no one wants him.
Yeah, and I think that's another guy that could be moved the night of.
I would be perfectly okay with that.
You know what I mean? I think that going into it, the people are going to wait, but once you kind of get there into game day one, I think that it's really going to be when teams are like looking to trade because you make them make quick decisions.
Yep, and you can always beef up the line. I think that goes for every single team, whether you're, the Tennessee Titans or the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody needs offensive line
wants more players at offensive line, defensive line than not.
No, absolutely. It'll be interesting. I'm very excited. I think this is going to go one of two ways. Either no one's going to trade or everybody's going to trade.
Yeah, it's either going to be a quick first round
or
there's
the longest
going to be
first round ever,
all over the place.
Yeah.
I've even heard that the one I've heard is the Bucks could be trading with the Giants. I think that's like the 13th or 14th pick.
Yep.
And that's where they might get Shedeur.
Oh.
I don't know.
I hope
that's the case.
someone wastes a trade because I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to do anything in the NBA. I think that they're going to maybe get
Abdul Carter with their, I think, the third pick.
Yep.
And then maybe try to get him then, but then there also he could be gone by then.
Yeah.
You don't know. So I just think it's going to be, if you're looking for a draft that like is actually exciting to watch, and I know I've said this a bunch of times already, but this is going to be a fun draft that you don't know what's going to happen.
I think it's going to be.
It doesn't happen a lot either.
It's either going to be so vanilla or it's going to be just chaos.
Usually it's pretty chalk.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the mock drafts are usually the same.
Cam Ward's going to be one. I think we all know that.
That's all that you know.
And that's crazy because I think Cam Ward is if he came out last year, he's like the third or fourth best prospect.
But you have to if you're Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're already moving.
Sorry, Will Levis.
Yeah, they're already moving off of Will Levis, which is pretty quick. I know he's not.
It's so quick, especially in the sense that like Will Levis had a picket fence protecting him.
Yeah.
Will Levis, I don't think, was the biggest problem in Tennessee.
No, but if that's the position that they want, they're going to have to get the best available quarterback. And I think
but it's easy to move on. Wasn't Will Levis like a second or third round pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you cut your losses and move on.
I just think that it's going to be you hope to see some trades. Because I think it's like the first time ever that there's been no trades in the first round going in.
Yeah, and maybe at least in a long time.
I think since like the 1990s. So it could be, like I said, it could be exciting or it could be a quick first round and
absolutely
no one makes a trade, which would be kind of boring.
Let's switch gears over to the NBA. The NBA playoffs are going on. We're just going to go down the series, give a couple thoughts. We'll start in the East. Cavaliers and the Heat. I mean,
I'm just happy that wasn't the Bulls.
Yeah.
The Cavs are really good, and the Heat are not.
Yep.
I mean, it's just that's what happens with these play-in tournaments.
And we can roll that right into the 2 seed, the Celtics and the Magic.
Oh, it's just.
I mean, thanks for coming out playing teams. I don't know.
They can sit Jason Tatum the rest of the series. It's not going to matter.
I do. Me and my brother were talking about this, and you were there. I don't necessarily dislike the play-in tournament. I'm always a fan of more basketball and good competitive games, which is what we got.
You got to know what it is. It is what it is.
But if you took, does it matter in the long run? You know what I mean?
No, because any of those 4 teams that come out of that are going to lose.
Yeah. I mean,
that's usually what happens anyways with the 7th and 8th seeds. At least you're kind of making
you get a couple every 10 years, 7, 8 seed.
The Heat a few years ago.
Yep.
Did they make it to the NBA Finals?
Yeah, made it to the finals.
But with this year, with how top-heavy the East has been, you knew this was going to happen.
Now, I think my favorite matchup in the East so far has been the Knicks and the Pistons. Pistons get the monkey off their back. The Pistons have not won a playoff game since I was a junior in high school.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the best series in the first round. 2 teams that are, would say the Knicks have been better for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But the Pistons, they turned around.
The Pistons had 14 wins last year.
Yeah, they turned around their whole organization in 1 year.
Cade Cunningham's the real deal.
Yeah. So that's fun to see. You just hope that, because I think the other ones are going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think that this is one that could save the first round.
I agree. It also might be the one that like slows down the second round.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this series, I think is going 6 or 7. I don't know if there's many others.
The only problem with that is if you go, is it 5?
7. Everything's 7.
Then the only problem with that is that's a lot of games to play in the first round. Of the NBA playoffs.
Especially since you would get whoever the two you would get the Celtics in the next round.
Yeah, so that'd be difficult because most likely the Celtics are going to sweep.
Yep.
But either way, I think it's going to be a fun series to watch.
Pacers Bucks. I think this series is over. I think
Pacers are a lot better.
Yep.
And without Dame Lillard,
Dame played last night.
But even with Dame Lillard,
also with that being said, we all know Doc Rivers is an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
Dame Lillard just came back from blood clots,
yeah,
right?
He's playing
and he played like 36 minutes last night.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I get it's the playoffs, but dude, it's blood clot. It's not a sprained ankle.
And basketball is a sport where you are game conditioned.
Yes, 36 minutes for a guy who had blood clots 2 months ago.
Right after being hurt.
That's
especially
crazy.
From an injury that he probably didn't do anything.
Yeah, he couldn't.
Yeah, so I think
that series is over.
Even when
the Pacers are just better.
You need like a prime Dame Lillard at this point, and
a prime Giannis.
Yeah, he just doesn't have. Neither of them have enough time to get back into the condition because Giannis has been unhurt all season.
And can we talk about the fall of Kyle Kuzma?
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Kyle Kuzma went out for a jog the other night. 21 minutes, no points, no rebounds, no assists, no nothing. He was 21 minutes just jogging.
Yeah. He pulled the Tony Snell.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move over to the West. Speaking of series that I think are over and should have been over after the first game, the Thunder are up 2-0 on the Grizzlies.
That's
I mean,
a 50-point game
cow.
one should just end the series.
I think Big Cat said that.
Yeah, Big Cat said that if you lose by a certain amount of points in any of the games, series is over. So like, if you lose by 50 or more, series over.
I agree. That was so bad.
It's insanely bad.
It was a 50-point game early,
Everyone talked about how top-heavy the East is. I mean, at least the Heat can stay in games a little bit. The Grizzlies, I know John Morant is hurt, and maybe he's not 100%.
I'm telling you, though,
still.
so this is like, we'll talk about him in a minute, but like this is a very strange thing that's happening. 2 coaches that got fired weeks before the playoffs. The Nuggets look like they're going to be okay and are in for a fight. The Grizzlies look like they just gave up. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah, and like I said, their best player is hurt.
It was an improvement that in game 2 they only lost by 19.
Yeah, so I think that's easily done. I mean, if you lose by 50 first game, what does that do for morale?
Obviously, SGA, I think, is going to be the MVP, even though I think Jokic is still the best player on the planet.
Yeah, but
Chet Holmgren went off the other night.
It's one of those things. It's like what happened to LeBron. It's happened to Michael Jordan. You can only get so many.
Voter fatigue, it's voter fatigue.
And he is really, really good, too.
The 7-2 is a really interesting matchup here. The Warriors take game 1 from the Rockets. We said it. They might just be too young.
Who the Rockets wanted to see.
Rockets had 85 points in an
Jimmy
NBA.
Butler, Steph Curry, and I guess you can throw Draymond in there.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 3 guys who have played a lot in the playoffs and are veterans of the game and know how to win games like they need to.
They did in the fourth quarter. I mean, you hold a Rockets team who is really, really good offensively.
One game.
Yeah, they're playing tonight after we record.
You don't want to go back to Golden State down 0-2.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that place does. I mean, playoff games in the NBA, home games do affect games.
100%.
When the crowd can really get into it.
And especially, I mean, you got to think as the Rockets, you're trying to wash it. You scored 85 points in an NBA playoff game. 85.
But it just shows you they're good, but they just don't have the experience yet.
Yeah. And they really melted down in the fourth quarter. I think
the
Warriors won the game,
That's where playoff games are
by
won.
will. We got 2 other series in the West that I think are really good. Lakers and the Timberwolves. They are heading back to Minnesota, tied at 1. 2 phenomenal. I guess the first game wasn't that great. The Timberwolves won it by 20.
Well, the second game, the Lakers were up by a ton too.
Yeah, they still won by 10.
But still, I mean, I think that is going to be maybe a 7-game series too.
I think so too.
And I hate to be this way, but for a guy like LeBron, you do not need a first-round 7-game series. You would like to get out of that one a little bit quicker.
Yeah. I think I would agree with you more if it was anybody but LeBron.
I'm just saying, though,
40.
you're 40 years old. It's still, you can be on whatever type of
recovery
plan. That's a lot of games
that
to play.
Yeah,
and
especially the way he plays.
Yeah, and especially the way he played this season. It's not like he really ever did the load management.
Yeah, he had like 2 weeks.
I think he hurt his quad.
Yeah.
And he was out for a little bit, but he played
if
all
it was
the way
even
up to the
that,
end of the season because the way the seeding was going.
Yeah.
So,
and then
they also do have Doncic to lean on,
big
which
time.
is awesome to have, but still.
If they don't make that trade, this goes very differently.
Yeah, because you just don't want a long series in the first round. And LeBron, first of all, is not used to that. He's usually either 4 to 5 game series every time.
Yep. And then the last one, the Nuggets and the Clippers. That has been a phenomenal series. We get an overtime game in game 1 and a 3-point game.
I forgot Kawhi Leonard was still playing basketball.
Yeah, because he doesn't play in the regular season.
He is unbelievable.
39.
39 is his most points he scored since like 2021.
Jeez.
I think it was.
He never plays.
I think it actually was against the Clippers.
It's funny you say that because I think I came to the realization last night. I don't think I like Kawhi Leonard.
Why?
He sits too much.
Well, there's a reason why he sits a lot because he gets hurt a bunch. But yeah, I mean, when he's playing that game of basketball, he is unbelievable. I mean, he can do things that a lot of guys can't. I mean, the way he pulls up for shots, and the thing is too, he doesn't get too high or too low.
Yes,
his emotions. Say what you want. He's always even keeled.
But in the same breath, talking about those Clippers, I also came to the realization. I think I love James Harden. James Harden's so fun to watch.
It's 2 guys that you almost forget about in the regular season, and James Harden and Kawhi Leonard.
James Harden is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, I mean
the guy's one of the best scorers, and he just drives old heads nuts.
Yeah, I mean the way he plays basketball is not really traditional basketball.
Yes.
But I also think you can't forget about the Nuggets either. Jokic, I mean, he can have a triple-double.
Michael Porter Jr.'s got to do something.
Yeah, and Russell Westbrook is playing like the old Westbrook.
Yep.
He's playing really well.
Absolutely. I love the NBA playoffs. People always say, the NHL best playoffs. No, the NBA playoffs are awesome. Well, I don't know. I disagree with people on that.
They were saying a lot about the Nuggets firing their coach. I think
they've rallied around that.
I think internally it was the best thing that happened.
It was the opposite of what is happening.
Because they wouldn't have just done it for no reason.
Yes. Clearly there was
not saying
something
they did it for
going
the
on
right
there.
reason per se, but I don't think they did it not talking to Jokic and not talking to the players.
Oh, if you don't think Nikola Jokic knew about that before it happened, you're out of your mind, people.
I think that it was made for good reasons.
Absolutely. Let's shift gears over to the NHL playoffs. Now remember, guys, we are not hockey guys. We are I admittedly am a fair weather hockey fan. I have watched a lot of playoffs, though, recently because for some reason my 2-year-old keeps running around our living room yelling hockey.
Well,
I don't know where it came from.
ESPN does a really good job with the playoffs.
Yes. So we'll start in the West. It looks like the Jets are going to run away. Good. I hate the Blues.
Yeah, the Blues stink.
Yep, they're up 2-0 already. The Jets look good.
Yeah. I mean,
Jets look good,
one
man.
seed for a reason.
One of the 1 seeds.
Well,
because of the way. The
NHL is so confusing, but they actually do it right.
Yes.
I think,
and they reseed, don't they? After the first round
and stuff like that. It's not like if you're a good team, you're going to make the playoffs.
Yep. Stars and Avalanche tied at 1. I really like the Avalanche. I've only watched them a couple times.
But the Stars, they won that game the other night. They came back, tied it up, won in overtime.
Yeah. That is the one thing. There needs to be some sort of alert you can set on Hulu or
overtime
hockey or whatever. Hockey, anytime a
playoff
hockey game begins, it should be like, hey, turn the channel now.
But the Stars would have been down 0-2 going to Colorado. Saved that series, I think.
Really did. Golden Knights and the Wild are tied at 1. I know it's just from the old Blackhawks days. I hate the Wild, so let's go Knights.
And the Wild, but the Wild also saved it. They would have been down 0-2 there.
Yeah.
And they won.
Big 5-2 win.
In Las Vegas last night.
So now Vegas has got to go to Minnesota and really kind of button down the hatches.
I think that series was also one of those ones that if you go 0-2, it's a 5-game series, right?
I thought there were 7.
Maybe I'm wrong. But
I think everything's 7.
Either way, though, they saved
Not
that
hockey,
series.
No. Then the Kings.
I just think it's crazy, though, that every first round is still 7. That's why playoffs take 4 months.
We'll have to find that.
You know what I mean, though? That's why the NBA playoffs take forever.
Hang on. I'm going to find this out. No, the NHL first round is a best of 7, not a best of 5. Last series in the West, the Kings and Oilers. I always just cheer against Canadian teams. So go Kings. They're up 1-0.
No, I'm not a fan of the Kings, though. I'd rather see the Oilers win.
No, I just don't like Canada, I guess.
I don't from Blackhawks back in the day, I'm just not a Kings fan.
That's. I hope that the Oilers lose and then the Kings get knocked out in the second round.
There you go.
Moving over to the East, the Maple Leafs and the Senators. Toronto looks solid, man. I think that series is over.
I think this year is the year that the Maple Leafs will make maybe the Stanley Cup this year. I mean,
as long as they don't win it.
I'm just saying,
can't have Canadian teams winning our Stanley Cup,
especially this year.
Yes, but the Maple Leafs. I mean, especially to win that game 2 in overtime.
Yeah,
the way they. I mean, they're
up 2-0, and in hockey, that is so hard to come back from.
The Battle of Florida, the Lightning and the Panthers. Florida is up 2-1. Or I'm sorry, 1-0 with a big 6-2 win last night over the Lightning.
Yeah, that's two teams I wish would both lose to.
Fair enough. The one team I
just don't think Florida should have hockey.
Yeah, especially good hockey. You can have bad hockey teams.
They have the weather. They have everything. Like Los Angeles, they have everything.
They have
the weather. They don't need hockey.
Side note: they're going to attempt to play a hockey game outdoors in Florida next year. Do they not own like a Weather Channel app?
Yeah, I guess.
How is ice going to have
technology is good enough? You can do whatever you want.
There's no way. I would bet $100 right now that game gets canceled. Yeah,
and they go, well, what happened? Well, it's because it's outside.
Yeah,
and
guys,
it's
it's
85
Florida.
degrees.
Yeah. The one team I actually am cheering for, and that's just because I want to see Ovi win another one. The Capitals are up 1-0.
I
do
the
too.
Stanley Cup. I love Ovi the way that team kind of
bands make a dance.
Yeah, the team really rallies around Ovi, and he just seems like a regular guy. It just seems like he likes to drink Coca-Cola. He eats Subway and drinks Coca-Cola before games.
Yep. I love Subway.
He loves popping a nice Coors Light after a game. It's just
he's a guy's guy.
Yeah. And Washington needs that.
Yeah. And the last one in the East, the Hurricanes are up 2-0 on the Devils. Unfortunately for our guy Frank, I think.
Tank. I mean, they limped into the playoffs. I would love to see them do good, but they are really hurt.
Yeah, very hurt. Carolina's kind of taking over
the Devils
that.
and the Mets being on at the same time should be illegal.
Yeah, just for the sake of the nation and for Frank's
Frank the Tank does not deserve that.
That is true. Right now, who do you want in the final? Give me the.
I'm going with. I'd like to see the Golden Knights versus the Washington Capitals, which would be an insane plane ride.
Give me Avalanche Capitals.
Because I just think
I know Vegas, I said I like the Jets, but I don't like Canada.
Las Vegas to D.C., that is a haul.
Yeah, well, even Colorado to D.C. But what was it last year? Was it Florida to
Was it Vegas?
No, it was a Canadian team, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Was
Vancouver?
The Oilers. I think it was the Oilers.
Yes, it was Edmonton. That was like a 3,000-mile flight or something like that.
No Canadian teams.
No Canadian teams. Let's finish things up. As always, we've got our TCF top 3. And I spend too much time on TikTok. I spend too much time looking up historical things.
I've tried to keep it appropriate.
I might not. How deep is your list? You want to go 5?
No, I don't have enough for that. We'll just go 3. We can't keep taking TCF top 3 and making it TCF top 5.
We can do whatever we want.
I know, but
we're the bosses here.
We got to stay appropriate.
All right. So we're going to do baseball names. There's some insane
baseball player names.
Yes, baseball player names. Zach's going to attempt to keep it appropriate. I'll kind of. We'll see.
I mean, you could go really inappropriate. There's some names that are pretty wild.
Yes. If you don't know, you can go. I have pulled up ballparksavvy.com has a list of 50 insane baseball names. So, Zach, would you like to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first, and I'm going to start inappropriate. Johnny Dick Shot. What a name. Imagine being an announcer that has to say that.
Yeah. I'm going to start off with a Hall of Famer, Catfish Hunter.
Oh, I had that one.
Catfish Hunter. That's a great name. He's phenomenal. I better double check that. I thought Catfish Hunter was a Hall of Famer. I'm
pretty sure he is.
Wrong.
I'm pretty sure.
And then I will go with a Cub, 3-finger Mordecai Brown.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think he was like in an industrial accident and legitimately had like.
Think about nowadays. Fingers. I mean, they also had Antonio
Alfonseco. I've got
He
his
had
autograph
6 fingers.
somewhere.
I had a picture with him.
Yep, and he had 6 toes. Never showed anybody, but
That's a little bit harder to see. I'm gonna go with one. He played 10 games in 1910, and he is in Baseball Reference. His name was Beer, Beer.
That's awesome.
Beer.
First name or last name?
Just Beer. It didn't give you the last
Just
name.
Beer?
But it's in Baseball Reference. If you go to Baseball Reference, it doesn't have any stats, but it just has Beer
That's awesome.
as a player.
I love it.
I don't know. I mean, you say what you
Also,
want.
it's crazy that, okay, so Major League Baseball has existed for like 150 years, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know that only like 24,000 people have ever played in Major League Baseball? They could all fit in a baseball stadium.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
And then I'm going to go with Cocoa Crisp.
Ah, good choice.
That's a great name, especially with cereal. I mean, the sponsorship deals that didn't come from that probably, but could have come from that.
Absolutely.
Cocoa Crisp. Also a great player, too.
I'll go with my last pick. This will be my semi-inappropriate. Jack Glasscock. I got to do it.
I always think of these names like you have to announce these names.
Yeah.
Especially if they're hitters.
I remember, you say about Cocoa Crisp, I remember in like one of the first baseball games I had on PlayStation, and they called him Corvelli, which is his legal name. And then I would watch a game and be like, that's not who that is.
My honorable mention, it's not really like a funky name, but there are 2 Max Muncies, and they both were born on August 25th.
That's awesome.
I think
that's crazy.
I think the other Max Muncy's in I don't know who he plays for, but there's 2 Max Muncy's in baseball, and they were born on the same day.
My honorable mention, Mudcat Grant. Mm-hmm. That's a great one. Wonderful, terrific Mounds III.
That can't be real.
That's his name.
There's some of these guys that are just unreal names.
Yeah, he played for drafted by the Braves in 1993. It's kind of like the coldest to ever do it, Crawford.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Heine Meany.
I like Dontrell Willis.
Dontrell Willis is a
great name. Especially for a sidearm pitcher.
I should have. I can't believe I didn't do that. It's the greatest movie of all time, Moonlight Graham.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
From
what a beautiful name.
The Only Nolan, that Icicle Reader. We didn't even say Shoeless Joe.
Yeah.
But that's more of a nickname.
A lot of these are, though.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows if there's actually, like, Beer. You had to have a real name or something.
Yep. Pretzel Pizzulo. It's a great name. Peekaboo Veach. These are phenomenal. Go look at the list, people. Ballparksavvy.com. Just some incredible names. Let us know what your guys' favorite baseball names are of all time. Keep it semi-appropriate. But that's going to be it for episode 255. As always, we appreciate you guys joining in. We will be back next week to recap the draft for the Bears and all of the NFC Central and any crazy stuff that happens. So make sure you check in. We'll hit on the Cubs and Sox and anything else going on. We got playoffs. We got a lot of material.
And make sure you watch the playoffs. They are really good right now. I mean, the first round, there's so many series going on. There's a game at all times.
With the Cubs and Sox playing, and then obviously the playoffs up until about the middle of June, every week it's not going to be as many team builders or visual stuff. We got a lot of stuff to catch
going on.
Exactly. It's a great time of year. You guys can find us on X at _Chicago, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you follow us on all of those. You can subscribe to our page on YouTube. Make sure you hit the red subscribe button there. Wherever you get your podcast, we are there as well. So make sure you subscribe, rate, review, 5 stars. Tell a couple friends. Make sure they do it as well. It is greatly appreciated. You can find me on X at BoomyTCF, Zach at ZLiliaTCF. Make sure you check out our friends over at Connect Roasters at connectroasters.com or Connect Roasters on X. Get over to Bourbon Egg. Get yourself some coffee. And as always, guys, thank you for joining us. That was episode 255 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.